Have you ever been fired?
Yeah. Real estate is an occupation where, on average, you probably get hired and fired several times a month. You know, luckily I get hired more often than I get fired. But I had an interesting conversation with a seller just last week. I was their second go around. They had already listed with another firm for 6 months, and it hadn't sold. And so I came along the second time, and I gave them some reasons as to why it might not have sold. One was certainly price. They were aggressive on their pricing. I think in 6 months' time they had one or two showings, which isn't all that great. The property needed some enhancement, so I came in. I did an evaluation, and I gave them a list of about 14, 15 things to do. I think I bent my standards, and because inventory was so low, and because this was a property that it was a beautiful house. It was a farm. It had a pond. It was a bunch of acreage, and I was just like, well, this is right up my alley. So I gave them a list of things to do, and they did maybe two of them. They got rid of some of the personal property that was inside of the house, and I told them that they needed to re-gravel their driveway, and he bladed it with his tractor. So that was about it and everything. But and so I think we had 5 or 6 showings, which is still really low for a 4 or 5 month period. And we stayed in constant contact with them. But because inventory is so low, I think there might be some solicitation of listings right now, especially in this price point, because it was a very expensive property. And so I know they're hounded by other agents, and it's really easy to point out what the current agent isn't doing and what you would do differently and everything. And so the seller called me, and he's like, we want out of our contract. And I was like, okay, why do you want out of your contract? What have I not done that I said I was going to do? And he's like, well, we're just not real impressed with your marketing. And I was like, I spend more on marketing than anybody. I mean, I really have a very complex marketing strategy and program, and I did some extra specific things for this property, even though it wasn't a qualified equestrian property. I still put it on horseproperties.net, and because it had so much pasture and it had potential for equestrian. So, and I did a bunch of all different farms and land and ranch and other acreage property specific marketing. And he asked, I just need to know one thing. I was like, what's that? He said, did you go to the Toyota plant and hand out our brochures to all the executives at Toyota? I went, no, I didn't do that. And I was like, really? That's the seller's expectation on that. And I wish I could do that. I just don't have time for that. And I said, it's really a complete waste of time. I mean, that's not how you're going to make a sale. The executives at Toyota, if they want, and it wasn't like we were real close to Toyota either. We were like 20 minutes, half hour away. But if they wanted an acreage property next, within a half hour of Toyota, they were aware of it. It was very, very well marketed and exposed, and what we do with search engine optimization. I mean, there is no way you couldn't find this property. It would easily come up for sure. But I said, no, I didn't do that. And he said, that's what I thought. And so it was obvious that some other broker had said, hey, you know what I would do? And his broker wasn't doing that. So I was left short. And so I said to the seller, I was like, look, if you found an agent that had the time to do that, they're not selling very much real estate. I mean, that's just not something. I wish I had that kind of time to do that, but that's not what we do. And I have a full staff, and we do a lot, but not there and everything. And so his contract ended, in December, and so it wasn't that much time. And I usually have some kind of penalty, but the last thing I want is a seller that thinks that I'm not representing them well, whatever. So I released them from the contract or whatever. But it's funny, after 25 years, it's still like it still has a huge effect. Like I disappointed that client. I didn't meet their expectations, and it still sucks to get fired. I don't like it.